And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this?
It's wild, because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight.
Go off of that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Stephen A. Smith responded to Floyd Mayweather calling out Terence Crawford by criticizing the current state of boxing, where some fighters are unfairly limited while others are overly hyped. He emphasized that Crawford deserves far more recognition for his skills and accomplishments, arguing that the focus should be on Crawford's dominance rather than on comparisons that diminish his greatness. Smith also noted that Mayweather is no longer in his prime, suggesting age should be considered before making such challenges.
When he said, you're way better than Floyd Money Mayweather. I know you heard that he said that. What thoughts came to your mind when you heard that Canelo Alvarez said that about you?
Hey, that's a big compliment. He's been in the ring with both of us, so he would know, from his own experience. A lot of people, they can say this, they can say that, but there's only, a few people that can say they've been in the ring with Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather and give their own.
Shane Mosley compared Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather by highlighting that Crawford holds a natural advantage in size and strength, especially at welterweight, an edge Mayweather never had. While Crawford's physicality sets him apart, Mosley acknowledged that Mayweather's success came from his technical precision, defensive mastery, and exceptional ring IQ. He emphasized that Floyd often overcame size disadvantages with pure skill, whereas Crawford doesn't face the same challenge. Mosley's perspective underscores the contrast between Crawford's physical dominance and Mayweather's legacy of adaptability and finesse.
Highlights that while Crawford's physical dominance plays a role, Mayweather's legacy was built on pure skill and adaptability.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Terence Crawford highlighted that Canelo Alvarez is uniquely qualified to compare him and Floyd Mayweather, having faced both in the ring. Crawford emphasized that their fights with Canelo happened under very different circumstances. Mayweather fought a young, inexperienced Canelo, while Crawford faced him as a seasoned champion at 168 pounds. Despite the size gap, Crawford emerged victorious, showcasing his strength and skill against a much larger opponent. He noted that Canelo acknowledging feeling more power from him only strengthens the idea that greatness spans different eras and shouldn't be measured by direct comparisons alone.
Greatness belongs to different eras.
It was cooking right there because there was this thought, this prevailing thought that the smaller man always loses to the bigger man. This was repeated time and again throughout the fight week. And he proved that that's not the case. Again, I hope you all recognize this was a 168-pounder fighting a 147-pounder. He had one fight at 154 last August, was the undisputed king at 147, beating Errol Spence in July of 2023, came back the following year, fought Israel Madrimov at the soccer stadium in Los Angeles, and then did everything he could to get this fight, played his cards the right way, and there he was, standing face-to-face against Canelo Alvarez, who did seem for the longest time like he didn't want to take this fight, and because there was great risk involved, because not only is Terence Crawford one of the all-time best fighters in the history of the sport, he's smaller than him, so a lot of people would be like, oh, of course you're going to beat the smaller guy, right? But I think Canelo recognized, yeah, he might be smaller, but he's that damn.
Trainer Greg Hackett offered a different perspective, emphasizing that Floyd Mayweather was a complete, polished fighter when he faced Canelo Alvarez. Hackett described Mayweather's style at that point as disciplined, controlled, and nearly flawless, qualities he feels Terence Crawford's more aggressive and unpredictable approach doesn't fully replicate. While acknowledging Crawford's explosiveness and adaptability, Hackett argued that Mayweather's fight was a masterclass in execution from beginning to end. Though he respects Crawford's accomplishments, Hackett maintains that Mayweather's performance against Canelo remains unmatched in its precision and perfection.
Best version of Terence Crawford that we've seen in the ring.
Yeah.
Who's the better fighter, Jay?
Of course you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time, Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ, you know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we ain't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great. To me, I could be wrong, but he didn't look so great to me because he was learning a lot about Madrimov while he was in there with Madrimov.
Max Kellerman broke down the difference in how both fighters managed their careers. He pointed out that after Floyd moved up from the lightweight division, he became very selective with his opponents, carefully choosing fights that made strategic sense. Crawford, on the other hand, followed a different path, taking on whoever was available, often without hesitation. This has given Crawford a reputation for being more daring and willing to take risks, whereas Mayweather's approach was more calculated. Kellerman emphasized that this contrast doesn't diminish Floyd's greatness, but instead highlights Crawford's eagerness to test himself across multiple divisions and against dangerous competition.
It's wild because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Yes. That makes a difference to people.
Crawford boldly expressed that if he ever faced a prime Floyd Mayweather, he believes he would win. He made it clear this wasn't out of disrespect, but rather a reflection of his confidence in his own skills. While he respects and admires Mayweather's talent, Crawford feels his own versatility, power, and ability to switch stances would give him the edge. For Crawford, the statement isn't about diminishing Floyd's legacy, it's about embodying the competitive spirit that defines true boxing greatness.